I'm Brighid Murphy. I'm a shamanic practitioner and a mentor, and I help healers to align with their fire. So I offer path to power programs, live shamanic training. I offer sacred training for healers. And on Monday, I opened up a Healers Collective. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end of this segment. I created this Healers and Healing series to support healers, energy workers, healing arts practitioners, to support you if you're in service. And this particular series is on mindset and money, which is a good one. The first segment was The Universe Will Provide All That I Need. If you missed it, you can catch that segment. On a replay. Today's topic is Spirit will guide me if it's meant to be. And I chose the whole topic because there are so many misconceptions about what Spirit will and will not do. So many misconceptions, and they're holding people back. They're holding you back. So that's why we're diving in. And I've broken all of this into 3 parts to keep them short and to give you time to absorb the information. So this is part 2 of mindset and money. And today I'm going to give you 3 keys for ensuring that Spirit will guide you. First, I want to share why this is an important topic. It's an important topic for multiple reasons. First reason why it's important is the saying, if it's meant to be. If it's meant to be. If it's meant to be is language that belongs to beginners. It has no place in the realm of someone who's determined to take their work in the world. If it's meant to be is wishy-washy. There's no conviction there. And there is a line between allowing Spirit to guide you and having conviction so Spirit can guide you. If you think about it, no one says, I'll stay hydrated if it's meant to be. No one says that. I'll stay hydrated if it's meant to be. You drink water for that. And no one says, I'll pay my bills if it's meant to be. You find a resource for that, right? If you want to take your work to the world, you need to make it happen. You need to find a resource to make that happen. And that is where there's an incongruency between being really good at what you do and knowing how to make it happen. And so that's the first reason why this topic is important. Second reason is that half the time you're guided by Spirit, you doubt it anyway. So how can Spirit make it happen if it's meant to be, if half the time you doubt what Spirit's telling you to begin with? And the third reason why this is important is because Spirit can guide you best when you decide it's meant to be. When you decide it's meant to be and put a stake in the ground, that's how you'll be guided. That's how you'll be guided. So let's get to it. 3 keys that will ensure Spirit will guide you. The first key is Spirit shows up when you show up. Spirit shows up when you show up. So your job is to create a relationship with Spirit. Your job is not to wonder and wait for a sign. Your job is to create an opportunity for the signs to be known. And we do that by creating a relationship with Spirit. And that includes regular conversations. That includes dedicating some time to conversations, right? Dedicating some time. I always teach 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day, which is nothing. Everyone can have 10 minutes a day. When you have 10 minutes a day that you carve out and allow Spirit to reach you, you open up portal each day, and that grows and grows and grows, and that's enough time. You know, I hear sometimes people saying like, oh, I don't need to dedicate time to talking to Spirit. I follow like the guidance and I get downloads and you know, the download thing, I get downloads too. But honestly, if I depended on the downloads, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be nearly as far as I am. I wouldn't be anywhere, actually. Downloads and relying on downloads, it's flighty and it's ineffective. If I've got a serious, as a healer, if I've got a serious ailment, I don't want to know about your download. I don't want to know about your download. I want to know practical advice to use in my life. So, as a healer, you get more solid advice if you incorporate spirit in your daily life. That's the first key. Second key to ensuring that spirit guides you is committing to getting to know your sacred helpers. Committing. Not just wondering who they are, where they are, or maybe some psychic told you there's a name for them. That doesn't get you anywhere. Having a serious, practical, like a meditation, journey work, something that allows you to get to know your sacred helpers. It will help you to understand who your specific guides are so that they can help you take your work to the world. Find them, talk to them. That is a sure way to ensure that spirit will guide you if it's meant to be. I have clients who have learned how to talk to their sacred helpers or their spirit helpers, and in doing so, they receive really clear instructions on how to move forward with their work in the world. I have one client that absolutely was so confused. She had a million ideas. She didn't know what to do. She wanted to start some sort of healing and energy work business with pets and animals. And she was all over the place for 2 years. As soon as she connected with a sacred helper, a spirit helper, she got a complete, a bullet-lined list of what to do and what order to do it. And then she could take action. She found out exactly what she needed to do to birth that business, and she did it. So having a relationship with them and knowing who they are is a way to ensure that spirit will guide you. And the third key to spirit guiding you in your work is that you commit to wanting what you want. Spirit will guide me if it's meant to be is so wishy-washy. And I know because I used to believe that. I used to believe that before I took my work into the world professionally and started resourcing myself. I believed that spirit would guide me if it was meant to be. You need to commit to wanting it, and you need to get real, and you need to come up with a plan. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. Spirit will only take you so far. And I'll take me for an example. I'm a pretty gifted healer. I was born into doing service work, and this is what I'm supposed to do. And I used to think that spirit was going to guide me until it didn't, until I wasn't guided, until I left my full-time job and couldn't pay my bills. It didn't really feel like spirit was guiding me. I thought I was being deserted by spirit, honestly. I thought, oh, gosh, I was supposed to do this. I know in my soul I was supposed to do it, and I did it, and boom, it's not all happening. I'm not being guided the way that I was supposed to be guided. And what I learned is that I was mistaken about not being guided. I was going to be guided. I just needed to come up with a plan. It turns out that I needed to come up with a plan, and I needed a couple more skills so that spirit could come through in a bigger way. And unless I put a stake in the ground and decided to learn a couple more skills, spirit wasn't going to be able to flow in a bigger way. So when I got some more skills, spirit, which were business skills, and I know healers don't ever want to talk about that, but you need to if you want to take your work in the world. I got some skills, learned how to talk about my work. I learned how to receive money for my work in a good way. I learned how to feel good about that. I learned that by doing that, spirit would actually help me reach more people. So spirit was guiding me. Spirit was helping to push my edge. Because the healer's growth edge isn't in the healing work, although they think it is. They think they need more trainings. Healer's growth is when they push their edges with what they're comfortable with, and what they're not comfortable with is marketing themselves. Ooh, ooh, ooh. People cringe just thinking about that. I learned all that. And now I help others. Now I help other people to do it. And if I knew all of what I knew then, I would have saved myself 10 years of pain and struggle. So something I've learned is that spirit is actually very interwoven with our humanity. It's not separate from it. Spirit helps you achieve your goals, and it does for you what you need, and then some. But spirit doesn't always do what feels good. A lot of times you want it all to come flowing to you because that's how you fantasize about it in your mind. When you have a fantasy of having something, you don't usually fantasize about how you're going to get it. That's your job. That's where you need to put a stake in the ground and have spirit guide you from there. So you might be reminded of a story that I told in the Universe Provides All That I Need segment. A woman who was in her 60s, and for 20 years she was waiting for a sign to take her 40 years of personal development work into the world so she could get on a big platform and help people. 20 years she was waiting for a sign. She's probably still waiting for a sign. No action taken. Spirit would have guided the heck out of her if she would have put a stake in the ground and set and committed to wanting it. People who wait for spirit to make it happen and think that it'll happen if it's meant to be, they don't commit to wanting it. When you commit to wanting, whatever it is, I'm talking about taking healing work in the world because that's what I do. When you commit to wanting it, it changes the game. People often think that it's unspiritual to talk about needing financial resources. People often think it's unspiritual to talk about claiming what you require. I see this all the time. Most healers that I know, whether they're practitioners or teachers or both, when I ask them how much money they want or need to survive, they freeze. I would ask you, how much money do you want or need to survive? Do you freeze? Can you get right down to it? Have you looked at what it is that you need to survive? Have you looked at what you need, what kind of money you need to thrive? Because if you can't even look and get real with and commit to having what you need to survive through your healing work, there's no way you're going to be able to start to thrive. So, yeah. Earlier this week, I asked y'all to write yourself a vision. Write a vision for what you want. And what I want to ask you to do today is to commit to having what you want. Not even commit to having what you want, commit to wanting it. Say you really want it. I know in the New Age circles, people say wanting is just a sign that you don't have it. I call bullshit on that. There's a different energy between I want to have a house that my family fits in, and I really want a house that my family can fit in. It's a whole different energy. Spirit and the guiding forces respond to the want. I want to have this. It's a different energy, and that's the want that I want you to want, that I want you to commit to, because that will change the energy and give spirit an opportunity to support you when you commit to wanting it. So if you don't have a vision yet, write it down. Commit to wanting it. Write down how much you want to make from your healing work. And then let spirit guide you. Not if it's meant to be, as it's meant to unfold. Change your language around it. As it's meant to unfold is much better than if it's meant to be. If it's meant to be is wishy-washy. And there's no commitment to wanting it. So commit to wanting it and look and see what you need to thrive. And then talk to spirit. So those are my 3 keys to ensuring that spirit will guide you. Number 1, get rid of the spirit will guide me if it's meant to be, because that statement is avoidant. And then, number 1, show up regularly. Show up regularly with spirit. Number 2, Commit to getting to know who is helping you and how they can help you. Which sacred helpers or spirit helpers are there to help you? And maybe you've never asked. It's time to ask. And the third thing is commit to wanting it. Get real and then take it to spirit. And watch how quickly you have results when you get real and take it to spirit. And these are things that they just don't tell you in healer school. They don't. Because healer school and Reiki classes and acupuncture classes and energy healing classes and all those things, they aren't about you. They're about learning a skill. They're about helping others. And you've probably been pretty schooled and maybe even well practiced in that. It's up to you for yourself if you want to learn how to take your healing work into the world. I don't teach you that in healer school. So that's today's segment of mindset and money.